Let's get the elephant out of the room. Let's talk about the goal first. The goal. Everyone's seen it now. Even Shahbaz Sharif retweeted it, and it's absolutely massive. Firstly, how does that feel like? How does it feel to be viral playing football for Pakistan?
Yeah, so for me, I don't think a lot of people know that one, I'm left-footed, and two, that's actually something that specific set piece is actually something that I spend a lot of my free time doing. When I'm not in training, and whether I go early to training or stay after training, that set piece is actually something that for me, it's like getting money on Eid, right? Like when you're young, right? It's such a treat. I love being gifted with that in a game. So for me, anytime I have a set piece on that right side, whether it's deep, whether it's, closer to the touch line, whatever it is, my target is to just keep it on frame. Right? If you keep it on frame, you give it a chance, and there's no telling what can happen. If a goalkeeper can get a touch on it, your teammate can get a head on it. A deflection can happen. Literally anything can happen. So again, for me, my goal anytime I'm taking set pieces, get it on frame, and you can give it a chance.
No, personally, I can tell the audience as well. I've seen videos of you on social media of practicing free kicks, practicing different types of angles, and it's these kind of moments. It's the hours that you put in. It's everything that you do outside, the match day that actually ends up, making the difference on match day. So it kudos to you, and it's absolutely job well done. Um,
So
moving,
I'm glad
yeah.
it's not a fluke then.
Yeah, of course I know.
It's
Yeah.
not a fluke.
Come on, give me a little bit of credit. I've been following you for a while. We've been in touch, so yeah, I know you've been doing this for quite some time. And yeah, I absolutely knew you have a great shot on you. I knew you were a good striker of the ball, and it was still pretty amazing to see. But yeah, let's
Thank you.
switch to Pakistan football in general and Pakistan women's team. Obviously, Pakistan Pakistan football's FIFA ban started while the National Women's Championship was happening, right? And that was a pretty dark day for us all. And it ended, and the first football activity after the ban ended on the Pakistan level was the SAF Women's Championship, which was incredibly the first competitive activity for the women's team in 8 years. What did that feel like generally, Pakistan women's football coming back officially?
Yeah, so I think a lot of different players felt a lot of different emotions. Obviously for me and quite a few of the other girls, it was our first opportunity to represent Pakistan, where there was another set of girls or women where this was their first time back after the 8 years, right? So the feeling I remember game day, in the morning waking up the day of our first game, knowing that we're playing India. For us, it's like, what better atmosphere, right? Than, getting to return back to football after so long, getting to play, a rivalry, that's across multiple sports, a high level game, in the rain. Like for me, there was again a lot of positive feelings, a lot of, just wanting to get out on that pitch. Again, I remember just the build up and the feeling during that day. And a lot of us were a little quiet, but it was that quiet of we're looking forward to what's to come, because we know that the second we step on the pitch, we are now laying the foundation for women's football going forward.
No, absolutely. And this is a good segue because I actually feel like this is a new era of Pakistan women's football with a new squad, with fresh faces, and a fresh start, actually. And generally, how do you feel about the current group that we have in the national team?
Oh man, I think if we go back to our first interview in 2000, I think it was like 2018 or something, and one of the first things that came out of our discussion was, for me, it's the young talent that was sitting in the country. And now we're seeing that young talent come through, and so many girls have earned their first cap, and have represented the country for the first time, and they did it in a high level competitive environment. It's not like they did it at under 19s or under 15s or under 16s. They did it in a women's national team tournament. So for me, it's again, the more we can continue, and as the federation's doing and as the normalization committee's doing, right? They're trying to get us playing every FIFA window. They want us competing, whether it's, a ranked team, unranked team, whatever it is, they're happy to just get us out there and get us experiencing international football again. So listen, that the talent, the squad, it's again, I think it's just this tournament is a perfect, representation of what the country can offer.
And what do you think is the squad's potential moving forward?
Listen, I think for me, seeing what these girls and these players and these women, what they can accomplish without having any domestic football yet. Imagine, again, the federation and the normalization committee are setting the roadmap for domestic football, I think, for both men's and women's. And once we get that set up and all of us are playing consistent football on a regular basis, imagine, like, I leave it to you, right? Like, you can imagine what can happen, right? It's scary what can happen. So again, very, very excited for what's to come. I think what's really important is people need to understand that this is going to be a marathon, right? We're literally having the normalization committee, the coaches, both men's and women's, they're having to set the foundation again, right? We're having to kind of, break ground zero, set the foundation, and that's going to take time, right? There's going to be things that don't go well. There's going to be mess ups. There's going to be hurdles. There's going to be challenges. But again, I think both men's and women's teams, the talent pool that we have and that's sitting in the country itself I feel like it's still even untapped.
For sure. And obviously it's a you've put it really well. It's a marathon and we need to be patient. As long as the process is right, as long as we're working towards something and there's incremental improvement, it's all good. But speaking of that, where do you think right now, agar hum aaj ki baat kare, where do you think the group needs to improve to make that next step?
Yeah, I think there's always going to be room for improvement. I think the more we get together, like I'll use the example of the style that we played in the South Asia tournament versus the style we just played in Saudi, right? That's literally 3 months, right? There's a 3-month difference between that. And you can see the style and the tactical work that's actually been put in, right? I think maybe the SAF game was getting everybody's bodies used, and that tournament was getting everyone's bodies used to playing 11-a-side again.
Yeah.
Right. And understanding that, because again, sometimes some of the girls, it's their first time playing 11-a-side as well. So I
Which
think
is crazy
now
if you
that
think about it. This is our
I'm
national
telling
team
you,
we're
it's
talking about.
insane. It's honestly, it's insane that some of these girls, they've just started playing 11-a-side 4 months ago, right? And we're competing with, teams that have regular leagues, that are competing on a regular basis, that played when they were 11, 12, that, have a very good league. Like Saudi's women league right now in Asia is one of the best leagues. The foreign players that they're bringing into that league and the players that those girls are playing against, it's crazy. It's crazy. And for us to go out there and put in a shift and, really represent well in that tournament, I think, again, like I said, it's scary with the potential.
Yeah, but is there any specific thing that after these experiences, so obviously after the SAF Women's Championship, all of you as a group, the coaches, everyone knew what to improve on, and that resulted in such a better performance in the recent tournament. So I'm just thinking, since you've been involved with the squad, since you've also been involved with the coaches as a captain, where do you think there's one specific, example or something that you could tell the audience that this is where we think that we can make the next step, and this is where hopefully you'll see an improvement next time?
Yeah, I think it's for us to be able to play against top teams and be constantly under pressure, right? Because that's where, your tactics is going to come out. That's where your fitness is going to come out. That's where, your ability to problem solve on the pitch is going to come out, right? When you're constantly put under pressure, it changes things, right? So I think for us, I think that's something that I think all the girls are looking forward to, and again, there'll be times that things won't go our way, right? And there'll be times, we might suffer a loss, we might suffer a draw, whatever it is. But for me, I think it's really important for people to understand, like, my mentality as, you know, one of the leaders in the team, because there's very good leaders within the team, is yes, a team can be judged on wins and losses, but for me, a team is really judged on how they react after a defeat.
No, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. And just before talking about your responsibilities as a captain, as one of the main leaders in the team, I'm pretty interested in the group dynamic. So how has that changed from the first day you got together for the SAF Women Championship to now, since you've been together for a while?
Yeah, so I think, listen, I think it's, for me, I've been part of a lot of teams, right? I've been playing football, alhamdulillah, for a very long time, and coming back to Pakistan, coming back for national team duty, I look forward to it because of the girls, right? For me, it's not the, yes, the playing is great, but for me, what really makes the experience is being able to live this with some of my now best friends, right? Some girls that, like, I'm so excited for, you know, little things that happen in their lives. And I think the dynamic that we have in this group, like, it's so nice, it's so refreshing. Even with the diaspora players, like, these girls are like how I was welcomed, right? You know, there's something about our culture that, you know, we do a very good job of welcoming people and making people feel comfortable. And, you know, I think that's exactly what has happened is, you know, all of us have come together and we've just made each other feel comfortable in a healthy competitive environment.
Awesome. That's awesome. And now switching to your responsibilities as a captain, obvious question, but I just want to hear your thoughts on it. I'm sure the audience wants to hear your thoughts on it. How did it feel like when you were told you were about to captain Pakistan? And how does it feel like every time you wear the armband to represent our great country?
Oh, man, it's as cliche as it sounds, and I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it. For me, I never will take this team, this duty for granted. For me, like, listen, wearing the armband is one thing, but being able to, you know, serve the country and lead with my teammates is such an amazing feeling. It's such a proud feeling. But again, it's very important for people to know that I'm such a small piece of the puzzle. In order for everything to keep ticking, we need every single girl, we need every single coach, we need, you know, we need the normalization committee, we need the federation behind us, we need the fans behind us. Like, everyone is like, there's a full ecosystem, right, behind all of this. And what drives, you know, for me, I've had this problem statement in my head for, you know, the past, you know, 4 weeks is, you know, what does a good national team drive a good federation, or does a good federation drive a good national team? Right. And for me, this problem statement just sticks out because, you know, there is no right or wrong answer because it's intertwined. Everything goes hand in hand. So for me, with these girls, like, my style is, I believe in empowering people and women and these girls and my teammates to be able to, you know, come to the table and say, hey, I think things should be done like this. And it's like, all right, cool, like, let's try it. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, okay, that's cool. We'll see what worked. We'll take it from there, right? We'll take learnings from each and every single one. It's not like our team, what I really appreciate it, like, from the management to the coaching staff to the chairman, there's that hierarchy is not there, right? It's allowing people to come to the table, provide feedback, and grow from it.
And what are your response? No, before I ask that, actually, I was just thinking about the last thing that you said before that, about how we are a welcoming culture and how we like to welcome people. And it's so awesome and so heartening to see that, if
Yeah.
you think about it, you've been mostly playing your football abroad, and for the group and for everyone to be, I think it's the highest form of welcoming and acceptance, that they allow you, or they think of you as their captain, or they think of you as their leader. And I was just sort of putting two and two together. So it's awesome to see. And I really think you are a worthy leader and a worthy captain. But what are your responsibilities as a leader? Obviously, there are a lot of responsibilities and challenges. So what are your responsibilities like on and off the pitch?
Yeah, so and again, you said it there. So something that I try really hard to do is most importantly is lead by example, both on and off the pitch, right? If there's, if there's a certain type of culture that we're trying to create within the team, and if there's a certain type of environment, a professional environment that we're trying to create within the team, you have to lead by example, right? And you have to be able to lobby your teammates to be able to understand the importance of building, the kind of identity and brand that we want to have as a team. So again, it's getting people on board, it's getting it's getting your teammates bought in, right? To the goal, to the objective. Our objective is to go out, compete, and put Pakistan on the map for women's football. So that's our objective now. That objective might change in 5-10 years, but right now we're laying that foundation together. So it's really that building that identity. It's hard work, right? It takes a lot of, sitting people down, having discussions, talking about, things that can be improved both on and off the pitch. But for me, it's the most important part is my teammates feeling that, they can come to me, with any matter, right? If they don't feel comfortable going to another teammate, if they don't feel, comfortable going to coaching staff, management, whatever it may be, I do my best to try to create an atmosphere where people feel comfortable to be their authentic self.
And what did you think going into the tournament, this latest tournament with Saudi, and what do you think now that you come out of it? Like, what was the feeling beforehand? What's the feeling now?
The feeling, the feeling before was hunger. The feeling after is hungrier.
That's a very
right?
good answer. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's like we're hungry to compete. We're excited to compete. But now it's just like, now that we have that taste, like in our mouths, like it's that feeling of always having unfinished business.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And was there it's because I'm thinking, actually I'm not viewing this tournament like in isolation, because I think you need to view it in relation to the SAF Women's Championship, because that's where the journey started, right? So I just want to, when I'm asking question, I also think about that as well. So was there a difference in mindset for the players after the SAF Women's Championship? Because that was the first sort of exposure for a lot of these players in international competition after 8 years. Was there like, no, maybe we can do this, we can do this, we're actually made for this?
Yeah, I mean, anytime your last game is a 7-0 victory, there's going to be a little pep in your step, right? There's going to be a little chip on your shoulder. There's going to be, regardless of which team you played, doesn't matter, right? You respect your competition, but at the end of the day, we put that game away as a team.
You can only play what's in front of you.
Absolutely. And I think for us, we walked away with the confidence that we needed to say, all right, we're here for this. This is what we want. This is what we believe in. And this is what we're going to do.
And how did you find, now switching back to the latest Saudi tournament, how did you find the training, the preparation? What was that like?
I think, it was really, for me, the best way I can describe the preparation for the Saudi tour or tournament, whatever you want to call it, is the load was managed so well that alhamdulillah, there was not one muscle injury. We had 24 players fit and ready to compete in Saudi. So for me, the what that shows is it's twofold, right? Yes, the girls, when they went away from SAF, they took care of their bodies, right? They took things seriously. They said, all right, we don't know what's happening next, but something's happening and we're going to stay ready. So that was one part. The second part was the technical staff and the committee and the federation. They provided us the resources we needed and the education we need, the medical education we needed to be able to put a program together that took care of our bodies, but also challenged our bodies to be able to be ready for 90 minutes, 3 90-minute matches over 10 days, over 12 days. So I think that's the best way I can describe the preparations is we were ready. We felt ready going to Saudi. Like what we did in training camp was, we weren't shocked when we got to Saudi, right? Like nothing was a reality check. Nothing was unexpected. Literally everything was planned for and accounted for.
And what do you think? Just the one of the last questions I'm going to ask you. I'm not taking up too much of your time. What could you have done differently to get an even better sort of I wouldn't say result, because result in football is based on a lot of variance. But what could you have done differently to get maximize your performance even more as a group?
Yeah, I think we have to capitalize on our chances. It that part it wasn't good enough. And I think we've discussed that as a team. And, there's going to be, especially with games coming up, we're going to get one chance. If you don't put that one chance away, that game goes 2-0, 1-0, whatever it may be. So I think if I'm being critical of our performance, I think we need to get a lot better at capitalizing on our chances and punishing teams. We don't punish teams. We need to
Yeah,
start
yeah. The
punishing them.
best teams are ruthless, and
Yeah,
especially knockout tournaments, because the game
yeah,
state changes and then that's a whole different game. Um,
absolutely.
Lastly, Maria, thank you so much once again for taking out the time. But what message do you have for the lovely Pakistani football community who are watching?
So for me, your guys' support up until this point has been extremely important. It's only going to continue to get more and more important. So we just ask that, you guys continue to be patient with us. Trust that, the right strategies are being put in place. Trust that, the right framework is being put together, and be with us along this journey, because it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We're going to have challenges, and we will face them together as a nation, as a sporting nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. The Pakistan women's team captain of the new era in Pakistan women's football, Maria Khan. Thank you so much for watching. Maria, thank you once again for taking out the time. It's always a pleasure to discuss
Thank you.
football with you. I hope we have some great news the next time that we're chatting. We have some tournament wins, some
Inshallah.
top scorer trophies. We have your shirt behind you as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. And honestly, I know you've heard this from a lot of people probably, but all of us are really proud of you, the team, and everyone who's doing, the work in Pakistani football. And we're here to support, we're here to help. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like this interview. Take care and take it easy.